My Uber rating shows trips I took while I was in a coma. I woke up after 6 weeks in a medically induced coma following a motorcycle accident. The first thing I did when I got my phone back was check my messages. The second thing was order an Uber to my follow-up appointment because my family didn't trust me to drive yet. That's when I saw my rating had dropped from 4.9 to 3.2 stars. Confused, I checked my ride history. There were 17 trips taken while I was unconscious. The first one was 3 days after my accident, from my apartment to a storage facility at 3 a.m. The driver's comment: passenger was completely silent and kept their face covered the entire ride. Creepy. The second trip, 2 days later, went from the storage facility to a pawn shop. Driver's note: refused to make eye contact. Smelled weird. 1 star. My blood ran cold. Someone had been using my account while I was in the hospital. But how? My phone had been with my belongings, locked in the hospital security. I scrolled through more trips. My apartment to various ATMs around the city. Banks I didn't use. Jewelry stores. Electronic shops. Always late at night. Always 1 starred for being unsettling or suspicious. I called my brother Nolan immediately. Did you use my Uber account while I was in the hospital? Why would I do that? I have my own car. He paused. Wait, is everything okay? I didn't answer. Too busy checking my bank statements. Withdrawals I didn't make. Purchases at stores I'd never been to. Someone had been living as me while I was dying in a hospital bed. The next trip showed a route to my ex-girlfriend Stephanie's house. The driver's comment made my skin crawl. Passenger insisted on waiting outside a house for 20 minutes. Just sat there staring. Made me really uncomfortable. I called Stephanie. Did anyone come by your place last month? Someone who looked like me? What? Number. Why? That's creepy. She sounded genuinely confused. The trips continued. Hardware stores, pharmacies, even a costume shop. Each driver described the same thing. Someone who never spoke, kept their face hidden, and gave everyone the creeps. Then I found the security footage. My apartment building manager Rodrigo pulled it up after I explained the situation. There, on camera, was someone using my spare key to enter my apartment. They wore my clothes, my baseball cap pulled low, my jacket despite the summer heat. But the way they moved was all wrong. Too careful, too deliberate, like someone pretending to be comfortable in an unfamiliar space. That's not you, Rodrigo said, stating the obvious. Look how they walk. He was right. This person had a slight limp I didn't have. They were shorter, using lifted shoes. We watched them make multiple trips, always carrying boxes out, bringing nothing back. They were emptying my apartment while I was unconscious. I went home to assess the damage. At first glance, everything looked normal, but the details were wrong. My gaming console was an older model. My laptop was similar, but not mine. Even my coffee maker was a cheaper version. Someone had replaced everything valuable with convincing fakes. The police took my report, but seemed skeptical. Identity theft while in a coma sounded like a bad movie plot. Officer Hendricks actually asked if I was sure I wasn't confused from the head trauma. That's when my neighbor, elderly Mrs. Katowski, knocked on my door. Oh good, you're finally back. Your brother was so worried about you. My brother was here? Yes, that sweet young man. He came by every few days to check on your place. Said he wanted everything perfect for when you woke up. I showed her a photo of Nolan on my phone. That's not him, she said, adjusting her glasses. This man was thinner, had a tattoo on his neck, a snake or something. My blood went cold. I knew exactly who she was describing. Dimitri, my former roommate from college, the one I testified against in a fraud case 5 years ago. He'd gone to prison because of my testimony. Apparently, he'd gotten out early. I pulled up his old mugshot on my phone. Mrs. Katowski gasped. That's him! But he said he was your brother. He had a key and everything. The pieces fell together. Dimitri must have been watching me, waiting. When my accident made the news, he saw his chance. Somehow got my spare key, probably from the super who'd always been too trusting, then systematically robbed me while I fought for my life. But he didn't just want my things. The Uber trips painted a darker picture. He was stalking people from my life, learning my routines, becoming me. The storage unit was the key. I convinced Rodrigo to drive me there, since I still wasn't cleared to drive. Unit 447, paid for with my credit card. Inside were all my real belongings. My actual laptop, my grandmother's jewelry, even my diploma. But there was more. Notebooks filled with observations about my life, my daily schedule before the accident, photos of my friends and family, practice signatures of my name, maps with addresses circled. Dimitri wasn't just robbing me, he was studying to replace me. On the wall hung a calendar. Tomorrow was circled in red with one word: switch. I called the police again, this time getting transferred to a detective who took me seriously. They put surveillance on my apartment. Sure enough, that night Dimitri showed up with a suitcase, ready to move in permanently as me. They arrested him in my lobby. He had fake IDs with my name, credit cards he'd applied for, even a lease for a car. The trial revealed everything. He'd planned this for 2 years, waiting for the right opportunity. My accident was perfect. He figured I'd either die or have enough brain damage that no one would notice the differences when he took over. He'd already introduced himself to my new neighbors as me, started a remote job using my credentials, even dated someone from a dating app using my photos. The judge gave him 12 years. As they led him away, he smiled at me. I was a better you than you ever were. Check your Uber rating. I did. In his 6 weeks as me, he destroyed my perfect rating. Somehow, that bothered me more than the theft. I'm still trying to piece my life back together, explaining to everyone why I acted so strange during my coma, but at least I'm alive to do it.